It's spring, it's Ibiza, it's marathon time. Welcome to an event that for many will be their first race of the year, and for plenty this will be their first ever marathon. They've chosen well. For most, this is a chance to combine sightseeing and sport, and where better than Ibiza, where the sun shines a full 10 hours a day for 300 days of the year, and the temperature often over that 20-degree mark. As one of the Balearic Islands in the Mediterranean, it's all about sun, sea, spectacular sights, and for some, supping their way around the coast. The music scene is well known, but the yoga retreats and the sporting events are growing. It's an island full of contrast. This week is all about running, and record entries indicate the success of the event and the hard work of the organising team. The elite runners add some spice to the event. The masses will create the atmosphere. Francisco Larry is the event director, who's happy to announce that records have been broken. He says they've surpassed the 5,000 entry level, making it the biggest event ever in Ibiza. We've never had so many entered in the marathon, the half marathon, and of course the 12-kilometre. The three distances provide for everyone, he says. After 6 years of running the event, it works like clockwork. The elite athletes arrive early to promote the event and the unique merchandise. Jan Miguel Costa is one of those involved in the many months of organisation. And he's a big fan of the race motif, which is run and feel. He says it says it all. The people no longer travel for the sake of it. They want experiences as well as the sunshine. He says Ibiza's advantage is that we offer a great diversity of experience. Whether the runners come to win or just to finish, they can bring their families, they can enjoy the food, the heritage, the beaches, and of course, the sunshine. He says it's the perfect place for athletes to extend their stay beyond the race dates. And he wants people to keep coming back and spreading the word. He says the runners are the ambassadors for this event and for the island. Attracting more and more female entries. This year, the first-time runners get to see the course map. All but the pros feel the need for some retail therapy as well. And of all the foreign competitors, the British outnumber the rest by a significant margin.
Two of us are doing a marathon, us doing a half marathon. Can't wait for it, excited.
Yeah. It's the heat that's going to be the hardest thing. It's very wet and cold where we come from, so it's going to be a challenge in the sun.
Well, Ibiza's just a magical place, isn't it? So I'm just ready for the race. I've trained really hard, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm going to side view it, take my mind off the pain that I'm going through running up the first half marathon, and then so hopefully enjoy the views on the way down and think about a nice cold beer at the other end.
The heat is certainly going to be a major issue. Managing the conditions, but enjoying the occasion is what's really important. Says, very happy to be here. I come as a support for Alex Roca and to see if I can keep up with him. The main idea is just to enjoy it.
So it's really awesome to hear that over 70% of the participants are actually from overseas. And I mean, why would you not come here to run? It is beautiful, it is warm. I'm from the UK, so it's cold, it's windy and it's wet, so why wouldn't I come here? Like, I get to have a suntan, I get to run with some really cool people and run around some really cool routes, looking at the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen. The race briefing held by the directors and
former champions, is for the elite athletes and the many influencers involved.
This is my second time in the island, and I don't often go to the same place for the second or the third time, but I feel like this is a place where I could be coming every week. And my plan for tomorrow is actually to do a little triathlon. So I'm gonna do an Olympic distance. I'm gonna do a little swim in the morning, so it's a 1.5 kilometer swim. Then I'll do a bike ride of around 40 kilometers. And then I will do the 12K as the finish. So it will be kind of a training run.
Augusta set herself up for a tough day. Juan Manuel Furio is happy that the island is becoming more diverse than its reputation from the past suggests.
Bueno, pues yo creo que están cambiando un poco los tiempos y bueno, se le está dando también mayor importancia.
He says that he thinks that times are changing and greater importance is being given to sports and sporting events. It's wonderful that the island's becoming a sport destination because of all the things that the island has to offer. As you've heard, the idea is to come here, enjoy the landscape, the people, the food, and the race. No surprise on race day that there is not a cloud to be seen, hovering at around that 20-degree mark. Warming up is not a problem. It's all sunshine and smiles.
I would say everybody's really friendly, fantastic, and it's just been a great experience so far. I will tell you at the end though, because when I finish.
Not my first time, but first time running the race. Yeah, first marathon as well. So yeah, we'll see how I feel about halfway through. So
Great in London, always. That's why we're here. It's London Marathon next weekend, and we've chose this over it. So got to take the sunshine in. Plenty of sun cream as well, because otherwise we'll be cooking. We're not used to it.
Yes, we are from Paris, so we don't have this weather.
Yes, it's the first time for Ibiza to dancing and to run. It's my first marathon. Nervous, but very happy. Yeah, it's beautiful, the sun, and I lovely everybody.
It's my first time running this marathon, but I have run quite a few before. So yeah, I'm feeling really pumped for it actually. I'm really ready for this. Just it's quite different setting off in the afternoon. I'm used to setting off in the morning, but no, I'm ready.
Well, the vibe is certainly good, and the elite runners a little bit more serious than many of the others here today. And as always, they've brought in some quality runners to set the standard. Aspel Kiprop, Josvat Kiptis, certainly two of the favourites. Wout Kroenen from Belgium is on very good form as well. And the marathon starting down at the coast. Climbs for the first 25 kilometres, and then they descend back to the coastline to finish, hopefully in time to see the sun setting in the evening. Well, as always, the field spreads pretty quickly at the start of these events, but up front, Kiprop and Kiptis, stride for stride.
I've heard about humid, about snow testicles, but I'll try my best to do better than the course record.
With the pace setters and the food stops and the music, the race directors ensured everything here that you get at a big city marathon.
Se ha conseguido que el concepto Run and Feel de Ibiza.
Here is Francisco, says the Ibiza Run and Feel concept has been able to break the barriers at international level. We've had a growth of 65% in countries participating. British market continues to lead, followed by Italy and Holland and Germany and France. Even the USA are up to 2%. And we're excited to have achieved these figures, and it certainly gives us hope for the Santa Eulària Marathon in the future. Year on year, the quantity and the quality going up. Maria del Carmen says the race starts at the walls of Ibiza, a World Heritage Site. It heads into the interior of the island and then heads back down to the coast at Santa Eulària. I think people are surprised by the variety and the contrast, especially at this time of year. Most, but not all, of the pre-race smiles have vanished by the time they reach the high point. And although there's not a drop of water that flows naturally on the island, there are plenty of hydration stops along the way. The pace up front pretty relentless. Asbel Kiprop, not to be confused with the Olympic champion Asbel Kiprop, setting a pretty stiff pace and shaking off the youngster Kiptis pretty early on.
Muchas veces estamos acostumbrados a despertar.
This is Valenti Sanwan. He's run a few races in his time. He says usually we have to get up really, really early for these events, but to be able to get a lie-in, then watch the kids race, then chill out for a bit, and then run in the afternoon, and to finish at sunset, it's a little bit of luxury we don't usually get. As they say, later start for the 22-kilometre race, and the bonus here is that it starts at the high point of the marathon. The finish just over 100 metres below their starting level. The times should be quick. Danny Matteo, the record holder for that 22-kilometre run. He'll be looking to beat that this year. 1:11:10 for 20k. It's pretty rapid.
La 22K Santa Eulària.
This is Larry saying the 22k Santa Eulària is an intermediate test for those who want to taste the half marathon. So it's going down to the coast at Santa Eulària and Escana, with the last kilometres along the promenade at Santa Eulària. Many have got a long, long way to go before they reach that stage of the race.
Que hay que ver como una carrera no para buscar marcas, sino para disfrutar.
This is Daniel Matteo, Olympic athlete, saying you have to see it as a race and not really go hunting the records. You've got to enjoy it. There's so much to see and enjoy here, especially at this time of year, before the summer starts and before the masses of tourists arrive. It's great competition, great experience, and everyone leaves with fantastic memories. Well, the 12-kilometre is almost an out and back course from Poștimisa up to Escana and then back to Santa Eulària. It's an undulating course and very attractive to those who don't fancy the full marathon distance. But having said that, it's attracted a strong field.
Pues sí, esta es la cuarta edición que voy a correr después de 2000.
Adrian Girardo, he's been here multiple times. Says this is the fourth time I've run since 2019. I won it in 22 and 23. And this year, I'll be going for the record. The event is growing every year, and he was impressed when he heard 5,000 people had entered the marathon. They're doing a good job. Says over the years, one of the themes has been in this running festival has been inclusion. The kids, the elderly, and the disabled are all involved. Alex Rocker is an ambassador for those with disabilities and an inspiration to many, many thousands. He'll be running the 12k race himself and is one of the big characters in the race organisation here. He says he thinks it's very important to, in life, to give visibility to those with disabilities and different abilities, and he congratulates the organisation. It's so important to support everyone. You have to realise that taking 10 steps for some is a great journey, a great achievement. So he congratulates them, and he'll be there to encourage and above all to give his support to all the families and people who live with some difficult situations.
Para animar y sobre todo para dar mi apoyo a todas las familias y personas que conviven quizá con alguna situación de dificultad.
Well, the kids' race is also a huge part of the weekend running festival. 5 different age groups from 250 metres all the way up to 1,500 metres. 600 kids involved this year. And you will have noticed every single one of them wearing bib number 1. They're all winners. It's about taking part. This is Francisco Larry again saying the Ibiza Kids is one of the tests we like most because it's just for the children. They give the values of sport from the grassroots, and the entire local public and schools can all get involved in this race. And in the end, it's a party that comes from the children to the elderly, everything included in the concept of run and feel. For Aspel Kiprop, this is definitely about winning. The conditions not really conducive to getting close to the record, 2:14:30. He's on schedule for sub 2:30, but not by much.
Pues la verdad que he estado, ya llevo
This is Jessica Maz saying the truth is she's been watching this race for years, and she saw Danny Matteo at the marathon, has always been interested in running here, and she knows it's a beautiful place, and it's just a pleasure for her this year to be able to enter the 22K race.
I'm super excited to be part of this event, be part of the running group that's here. I've seen so many great people here, and I'm just super excited to be on the island and to experience the feeling by running here.
Well, despite the large field in the marathon, a number of runners find themselves on their own, able to take in their surroundings, go at their own pace. Kroenen from Belgium, tall figure and covering the ground really well. This is Danny Matteo again. Says the atmosphere and fun in a race. Yes, a race. He says he thinks it's important because the situation of running is hard. It's all about suffering. There are moments in which you can keep the pace, but somehow you have to distract yourself and take your mind off the sacrifice that you're making, and that takes a lot of practice. He says it's one of the really positive aspects of this race.
Pues estoy súper feliz porque vuelvo a competir en...
Elisa Malili says she's super happy because she's competing again in the 22K, which was the first race she ever did here in Ibiza, and really wanted to relive the atmosphere that she felt 3 years ago. And she says she'd definitely recommend this. It's a totally different race, and the 3 different distances make such a difference. Well, the 2 leaders approaching the 3/4 mark. Kiprop and Kiptis both going well, but Kiprop is flowing. Kiptis just starting to look a little bit heavy. When he sees the sea, he knows he is not far from the finish. Temperatures cooling and the crowds building as they come towards the end of the run.
I think it's amazing that half of this race is actually female, and I think running is something that's given me so much life and so much joy and so much adventure, and knowing that there's going to be so many women out there joining me between the marathon and the 12K and the 22K, I think it's amazing, and I hope that it continues to grow, and I hope that actually overtakes the number of men that are going to be running.
That's quite possible. Antonella's another who's typical of many of the women running here. Says, I believe that the role of the women today is really important and fundamental, especially in the world of sport. And she says, as a woman, I have 2 children, I've got loads of commitments, I'm hardworking, I manage somehow to carve out time for myself. and it's important to me to feel good and make space for my activities, for my health, for my sport. And the fact that there are so many women here and that participation is enormous from the female point of view.
È veramente una cosa bellissima.
Just about 50% of the field female, and there are definitely more women smiling than there are men.
Es como la primavera en máxima.
Ingrid Pino is another. Says this is spring at its best. Summer is just around the corner. It's actually quite hard to focus on the running because you're so busy taking in the views and the nature.
A mí la verdad que me parece un recorrido.
Clara Lopez, another runner, says the truth is it seems like a really attractive course in the sense that you start in a town in the interior of the island, which you normally don't visit, to be fair, and then it's downhill all the way to the finish. And it also makes a fairly easy route before you hit the boardwalk down at the beach.
This race is a very special one to me and to everyone who has never been here, because it's a experience where you get the sun, you get the sea, you get the mountains, you get so many amazing views. You run through so many different parts of the island, you get through pine trees, and it's just so beautiful, and it's everything in one place. This is just perfect. You go to an island where it's warm and sunny and you race. Oh, what else can you need?
Well, with 2:25:35 on the clock, Aspel Kiptu Kiprop hits the final stretch of the promenade. 42 kilometers completed. Eliud Kipet to set the record back in 2019 of 2:14:30, some way outside that, but a brilliant run. So Kiprop taking the win, Kiptis in second place, and then Wout Kroenen of Belgium, a 2:40:11 to take third. In the women's, it was Gemma Selby from Great Britain, lives in Spain actually, runs anything from 1 to 100 kilometers, ahead of Dina Oliveira, and then Verity Knott, another of the British athletes, finishing in 3:34:09. Danny Matteo, no surprise to see him winning the 22K. 3 seconds outside the record that he set himself. Jessica Maas winning the women's 22K as well. So Matteo ahead of Shalubi and Gonzalez. There's Maas, 1:25:07 for the women's 22 kilometre. Clara Lopez in second place. She was the record holder actually, having to settle for second today. And Elian Janssen, 1:31:36, sharing third place with Elisa Malili. Nice touch. Shortest of the races, 12K, set by one of the class athletes here, Adrian Gerardo, 39:59, and that was a pretty undulating course. Lotta Schedelman getting first place in the women's 12K. Fabulous run from her. And how about this? Alex Rocker, 1:28:31. No wonder he's delighted with that performance. For hour after hour, they stream across the finish line. The sun just setting as they come down the esplanade. A massive event, over 5,000 in the marathon alone, and there's every sign that it will get bigger next year. And the bigger the event, the bigger the after party, held this year at the Hard Rock Hotel exclusively for the runners.
Yeah, it was my first time here in Ibiza. We flew here Thursday and we enjoyed the beautiful sun. I think it's a beautiful island with a lot of elevation, unfortunately. But yeah, we enjoy the sun a lot. But yeah, the island is great, and I have a week of holiday right now, so I'm looking forward to exploring the island a little bit more. Thank you.
You'll certainly enjoy that, having taken third place in the men's marathon. A fitting end to an event that provides everything for everyone. What a success story. What a way to start the marathon season.